Happy New Year and welcome to 2024 on the Great Bright Way. I'm so glad you're here with us. I'm Tamsin Fidel. Days of Wine and Roses comes to Broadway this winter. The new musical starring two of Broadway's greatest, Kelli O'Hara and Brian Darcy James. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
I like seeing you two together. I mean, I first saw you together, what was that? 2002, right? Sweet Smell of Success. You weren't the love story in Sweet Smell of Success.
No, we did intersect though a lot because our characters definitely were,
In cahoots.
Yeah, had an effect on the story, but yeah.
You know, I knew both of you at that time. You were both these up and coming wannabe Broadway stars. Look at you now, 26 credits, I counted, 26 credits, and this is the second together, right. The second of those credits. Is it crazy to think back to what you were like then, and do you remember first meeting each other?
Yeah, I'd seen him in Andrew Lippett's Wild Party, but then when I auditioned for Susan for Sweet Smell, I got called back and had a work session with him, and I remember that very well.
So I had been working on this for a while, and Kelli came in and auditioned, and we read together, and everybody at the table, behind the table, were looking at, like who were they going to cast, and then Kelli O'Hara walks in, and they were like, oh my God. We have to wrap her up. We have to just get her in. We have to just make sure she can do this. And meanwhile, I've been doing workshops and I'm like, hey, how about me? I'd like to get wrapped up as well. But they were right.
But it must be awesome to now be able to be in a place where you can develop an amazing show like Days of Wine and Roses. And I mean, because you've been actually working on this together for a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, the idea came right after Sweet Smell of Success.
Wow.
So
Because
that's
of her.
A while.
Because of her.
Because you dreamt this up.
Well, I wanted to work with him again. The era was right. I was putting it all together, and yeah, I knew the movie. I love the movie for some reason, and I thought it would be a good, weird, operatic, dark, artsy version to write it for Brian and for me. And things take a while, or things happen when they're supposed to, maybe.
It makes it actually super special in that way because you realize you just never know what's going to happen down the road. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone 20 years from today. That to me is really, really special, and I really feel excited and grateful and astounded by that, actually.
Do you consider this a love story, Days of Wine and Roses?
Absolutely.
Talk about this.
Multifaceted. I mean, huge love story. I mean, but there's also a devastating love story with alcoholism, being that third partner. No matter what your relationship is to this theme, it just strikes us all. We'll each have our own connection to it. And that's hard to undertake and beautiful at the same time.
What kind of reactions did you experience when you did this show off Broadway? Were you hearing from people? What was it like sort of putting it in front of audiences today? People
are very invested in the trajectories of these characters in terms of their success and or failure, so that when they make bad decisions, the investment in the characters is such that you actually hear people say, oh no, like literally saying, no, don't do that, don't make that decision. Not to say that it's like a raucous kind of reaction, but you can hear them breathing with you and participating in a way that is very, very, very immediate and visceral. That's a very moving thing.
What was quite beautiful to me would be to walk out the door and have someone slip by me and say, thank you, 23 years sober, and keep walking. And I could feel that they felt understood, they felt heard, and they felt validated. Because when you can sit outside of a story and watch it happening in front of you, you can sit there and judge, well, that's not me, and feel so relieved by that. But you can also say, that's a good lesson.
I'm so happy that there's a place for this level of musical drama still, when I feel like so many shows are looking to give people joy and the glitter and the confetti.
Yeah.
But I'm so happy that there's a place for this level of, I don't know, just gravitas.
I think there's always room for that, because as long as something is impactful, then you're gonna feel like, that's why I came. And this show, I think, really, really is impactful, no matter how you look at it, in any capacity, whatever your vantage point is coming into it, you're going to see a very human drama play out right before you that is full of just complete intoxicating joy and also just super, super harrowing challenges. So, that's what you want, I think.
I'm Joseph Clay. I'm the new man in public relations.
I know.
And may I ask,
Kirsten Arneson.
so what's your tragic story?
I love jazz-based Broadway scores, and I just love sort of like getting lost in that music. And your voices are like instruments in this beautiful symphony. What's it been like learning this score and getting to perform it every night?
One of the things that is interesting from when we go into it, at first you don't understand it, you don't hear it, and then you see how every single thing is so specifically chosen to match an emotion. That's how Adam writes, is he puts himself in there, and you can tell that he's done it on himself. And so you're not gonna sing something over here just for art's sake. No, it's all about emotion. And there's even songs where we feel very vulnerable singing them, and I realize they're in the most vulnerable part of the show. I don't feel great about the technical aspect of it. And then I kind of think, well, son of a bee, it's on purpose, you know?
You just swore.
I did, I said bee.
You just swore. Oh my God.
I know, you're a crazy girl, Kelly. People said, well, what's it like doing this show? Well, it's like getting on a train that's already has the gas or whatever to run. And if you just get on it and you invest in it, the work is done. You don't have to add anything. You don't have to try so hard.
I fight this battle of being so in awe of what's being asked of me in a score. It's almost a problem because it gets in the way. And so I've had to kind of figure out how to actually have those feelings, which are there, but then take it apart and just say, this is something I have to do and I have to do for myself, and figure out a way that I can wrestle it to the ground and kind of own it as my own. And that is and with this music is such a never-ending exploration, because it really is so rich and so complex and simple and everything. I've never been more challenged as a singer to be able to kind of rise to the level at which Kelli is able to deliver this. I mean that, and I say that to you not to embarrass you, but I think we're different kinds of singers, and I think Adam knows that, and he's able to kind of just make sure that everybody's been given the things that they can do and do really well. I think great composers and great authors work with the people that they're working with to kind of just make sure that everything is happening in synchronicity.
What's your favorite thing about working with each other?
We're pretty sane, like, you know, like in general, but so that they're I mean,
congratulations.
You're such a goofball.
Yeah,
like I think you come
humor,
off like I
sense of
think
humor.
maybe both of us come off a little bit. Like someone the other day said something like, "Oh, I thought you were more like Mary Poppins or something." I said that. It was such a strike, and because people don't really know who you are. But we have to be really who we are, because we just have to get this done. We have to go in there. You know,
Yeah, that's true.
especially playing drunk, which is actors love to kind of, and we get in that some people overdo it and everything.
What are you saying?
Yeah, no. No, but you have to find the looseness,
Yeah.
and what comes out of that is goofiness.
Yeah.
At times, which totally elevates the room, the mood. It breaks the ice. You're just a goofball.
Yeah, I am. So I mean, I think also because of the nature of the story, it just requires so much. Like, imagine if it was always like, please don't talk to me, I have to be.
Well, then, and there are those experiences. I've had them.
It can work, but it certainly probably doesn't make for a great.
I mean, I studied that. Like, I could see where I'd be like, I'm Kirsten now, and that's what the method. But the fact that we can just go, and I know that this is, it's almost like a combination of reality, and that's what I love about it. There's so much of us in it, while telling the story that is wildly not us.